Hi everyone, there's an update on this wreathgate anti-Semitism row with Labour and Jeremy Corbyn, which I'm just going to read. Before I get to this update, I just want to read this to you because this is from the brilliant Caitlin Johnson. I'll leave a link to this article down below. If you don't read her stuff, just read at least one article a week of hers. Honestly, she is just absolutely brilliant. In this article, it was the one called "What If There Were No Official Narratives." One of the best. It's better than anything I've ever seen written in the New York Times and Washington Post. Put it that way. She's that good. Just want to read you a couple of paragraphs here. One that she wrote in a tweet by Owen Mattei. She wrote this: "Right now in the UK, there's an amazingly viral smear campaign against Jeremy Corbyn running across all mainstream outlets, which, from what I can tell, consists entirely of narrative spin and no actual evidence. The powerful elites who control British mass media have an obvious vested interest in keeping the UK government from moving to the left, so they advance the absolutely insane narrative that Corbyn is a secret Nazi. They just keep saying it and saying it like it's true until people start believing it without feeling any pressure to substantiate their narrative with facts. It's been jaw-dropping to watch." She summed up there in one paragraph what I've been trying to say in 3 or 4 videos. She's just so good at putting how people feel down into words. It's amazing. And then you can see right down there at the bottom that quote by Owen Mattei. I'm sure I've mentioned this article before. It was really very good. This UK campaign to smear Corbyn as anti-Semitic follows old playbook versus those who defend Palestinian rights, amplified by neoliberals who also hate JC's progressive agenda. Sorry to pull this card, but as a Jew, descendant of the Holocaust, Jew and descendant of Holocaust victims, it's embarrassing and disgraceful. That sums up my feelings on the whole matter, and I'm sure many of yours watching this as well. But the update I want to get to is they have complained to the press watchdog in the UK. This is from The Guardian. Labour complains to regulator over coverage of cemetery visit. Party says newspapers misrepresented Tunisia event which Jeremy Corbyn attended. Party say newspapers. I agree with them as well, as many people do. The article, I'm just going to read a little bit of this just to give you the outline. The Labour Party has formally complained to the press regulator, IPSO, about the coverage by several British newspapers of Jeremy Corbyn's decision to lay a wreath at a cemetery in Tunisia. In its complaint, the party said the Sun, the Times, the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, the Express and the Metro, it's always the usual subjects, isn't it? It's always the same ones. Had misrepresented the event which the Labour leader attended in 2014, a year before he became leader of the Labour Party. The press regulator has acknowledged the complaint and said it will consider taking the case further, raising the prospect that it could attempt to rule on the definitive chain of events surrounding Corbyn's visit to the ceremony. It is highly unusual for a senior politician to turn the press regulator over negative media coverage. It is highly unusual, that's why I'm bringing making the point about it. It really is unusual for this to happen. That's how bad this smear attempt against him has been. At the bottom it says this: Labour acknowledges that the cemetery, this is about the visit, contains the graves of senior Palestinian Liberation Organisation officials Salah Khalef and Atef Besizo. I don't know whether I've got that name right, who were assassinated in the early 1990s and have been accused by Israel of having had links to Black September, something the PLO has always denied. However, it insists Corbyn did not take part in laying wreaths on their specific graves. The party initially struggled to clarify events surrounding Corbyn's visit. However, it went on the attack when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu personally intervened and criticised Corbyn. That was a mistake by Benjamin Netanyahu. I think that was a really big mistake, because once he came out on the side of the press, people knew something was wrong. Newspapers named in the IPSO complaint have been informed there will be an internal complaints process at each one, and they could offer to publish corrections to resolve the dispute. I'm assuming if that happens, their corrections will be on page 47 and be about that big, be about 2 paragraphs right in the bottom corner of the page. That's the way this usually goes down. If Labour rejects any of the potential mediation offers, a full inquiry could take place. IPSO could have to rule on the accuracy of each contentious piece and whether it breaks its code on accuracy. I submit it most definitely will do. It is thought that several members of the public has complained to IPSO about the coverage. I've got a feeling it's way more than several members, but their concerns cannot be investigated because the regulator does not accept complaints from third parties. The regulator has been increasingly willing to make strong rulings on contentious issues, ordering front page corrections in the Daily Mail and Mirror in recent months. Now, I hope that this puts it to bed once and for all, but the trouble is, the BBC, without realising it, did so a couple of days ago. In this article, Jeremy Corbyn, Wreathgate explained. In that, there is a little video halfway down. They don't make a big deal out of it, but the little video halfway down basically debunks it. Here it is. Take a look.
So this is the hilltop cemetery of Hammam Leaf, a coastal town in Tunisia, and it's where all the locals from this town are buried. But separately, you have a section that is, as it reads there, Maqbarat Shuhada Palestine, which is the cemetery for the martyrs of Palestine. When you walk into this special section of the cemetery, that's
I'm hoping you can hear that.
For the martyrs of Palestine. When you walk
so the whole cemetery,
Palestine, which is the cemetery for the martyrs of Palestine.
So the whole cemetery is for the martyrs of Palestine.
When you walk into this special section of the cemetery that's dedicated to Palestinians, what will first draw your attention is this large plaque, and it has the names of those who were killed in the Israeli airstrike in 1985 that was.
So when you walk into the cemetery, there's a massive plaque there dedicating to the people who were killed in that.
Targeting the Palestinian Liberation Organization's headquarters in Tunisia. That's where they're buried over.
It's clear who this cemetery is being made for. Quite clear.
There, and just a few steps away, you have this other section that's dedicated only to senior members of the PLO who were killed at different times. Two main figures include Atif Ibsesso, who's buried here, and he was assassinated in Paris in the early 90s. And you have Salah Khalafir, who was assassinated in Tunisia.
Now, she said that they were buried there. She said they were buried there. I've seen reports in other places, sort of Evolve Politics and Squawkbox, who were saying they're buried elsewhere. But it does seem like they are actually buried at that cemetery, and those articles in those publications are wrong.
And there's a plaque here that's dedicated to those who are buried in this section. What we understand is that this is the area where dignitaries and diplomats also stand on an annual basis to remember those who were killed in the Israeli airstrike in 1985. So
every year, she's just said there, every single year, the dignitaries stand there, just in the vicinity of those two, but they stand there to remember the victims of that airstrike. Every year they do it. And yet, somehow, the Mail spun it as if he was there specifically to lay a wreath on the grave of those two people, who, by the way, it was always rejected that they were anything to do with terrorists. Palestine always rejected, but that's another argument. Now, the thing that interests me is, I was wondering whether this would actually take a footing, get a hold, and his support, Jeremy Corbyn's support, would waver and drop. But it seems the effect that it's had, and it has had an effect by the look of it, has totally backfired on the people who are smearing him in this way. There are dozens of these on Twitter of people saying that they had joined the Labour Party specifically because of this smear attempt against him. I'm hoping that puts it all to bed. I'm hoping this is just going to die down and that's it, and people are going to realise, hold on a minute, this is an obvious smear job. It's obvious the Israeli lobby here and the press, well, the press are attacking Corbyn because they're, as Caitlin Johnson says, pro-establishment, and the Israeli lobby, Bibi Netanyahu, is jumping on board because, hey, any chance to deflect away from their crimes against Palestine that they are doing on a daily basis. I saw the other day some more people were killed, innocent people, just for protesting. So I'm hoping that this all dies down. I'm hoping that this complaint that they've made to the press regulator actually has some legs, and the press regulator will do its job and come out and say that, yeah, we demand a front page correction by these organisations. Whether that happens, your guess is as good as mine, but I certainly hope that that's the case. And I certainly hope that this wreathgate fiasco now has been put to bed and people can see it for what it really is, an obvious smear job from people who are terrified of a Jeremy Corbyn-led Labour government. If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.